Family, we are back. I want to thank y'all for being here, all that good stuff. We're gonna do it the way I did when I first started. I'm being lazy right now, for real, and I'm trying to get an upload up before at least 11. Anyways, we're back. Thank y'all so much. Just interacting with the channel and everything, it helps a lot. Period. Y'all can see the uploads adjusting time wise and even almost content wise. You can see the channel kind of pivoting toward a certain region, maybe, but I do want to open up the platform, and I want to go more podcast style, but I also want to just start getting into different things other than these things. I'm sorry, and I think it's time. Anyways, we're gonna do it the normal way, or the original way. I came up on a story earlier, a few stories actually. Takeoff. I want y'all to listen to what this dude breaks down with the Takeoff situation, and it's kind of giving me the vibe that a certain group of people might be pulling some strings. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let bro break it down, but after that,
let's get high, yeah, you know I'm about to roll. Please, yeah, you know I gotta pull. Let's live life, live once I'm about to turn up. Get fly, oh for sure it's about to go up. Let's get high, yeah, you know I'm about to roll. Please, yeah, you know I gotta pull. Let's live life, live once I'm about to turn up. Get fly, oh for sure it's about to go up. Roll my blunt and pass my life.
I was telling y'all about this dude. His name's Chud. We're gonna watch some very controversial footage. We're gonna review and react to it. YouTube, we're just doing a reaction. I don't know this dude. This ain't my content. I'm just reacting. That's it. That's all. Please don't flag me. But this dude raised 50K from his people, y'all. 50K, and we're gonna see what he did to get this money. Listen, and we might touch up on this shout out to Flacco. We're gonna touch up on this 6ix9ine and Big Bank situation. What a lot of people don't know about Atlanta is that those guys been tattletales. You got a whole bunch of dudes that are trying to get next to the main dude, and they do almost anything to do that. Tell on homies in their own clique and crew and all kind of stuff, and it's almost like it is a follow the leader mentality. I want to use the S word, but I'm not going to do it. The Harriet Tubman word.
Takeoff was a son, a nephew, 1/3 of one of the most iconic rap groups in hip-hop history. Migos, gone, not on a tour bus, not on a stage, not a private event, surrounded by people who knew exactly what happened, and almost none of them said a word. And that's the reality of this case before it even really began, and before we move forward, let's not forget that a precious life was lost here. The quiet one, Takeoff, the one who just always stayed to himself, the guy who was always...
All right, Takeoff. Me and Takeoff. Listen, there was a drink that was really popular back in the day, but when Justin Bieber got a hold of it, it changed everything. Like, bro literally shut down a company. But that was me, Takeoff, and Rich the Kid. That was our thing. Grand Theft Auto, herbal breathing treatment, in that beverage. You would forget bro was in the room for real. You would really forget it. He was never tough. He was never showing off for women. He was never flaunting money. You just forgot he was there. Cool, quiet, real chill. It really messed me up when I found out it was him. Like, I would have expected one of the other two, but I would have expected one of them more so than the other because of their diva level. But I feel like that person might be the catalyst for this situation too. Check out how how I think this company's pulling strings.
So low-key, the one who stayed out the way, he's the one who lost his life. Doesn't make any sense. Then on December 2nd, 2022, exactly 31 days after Takeoff's death, Patrick Xavier Clark was taken into custody and charged with murder. But here's where things get interesting, right? Clark didn't stay locked up for long. He got out on a $1 million bond. And the question that never really got a clean answer was who paid for that? Aside from being stated that a family friend and had helped secure his release, we don't know more than that. When you look at who Patrick Clark actually was, he was a local DJ, a strip club promoter, not exactly someone you'd expect to have that kind of money sitting around. And on top of that, it was reported that he operated largely in cash. So where did $1 million come from? Nobody ever really explained this.
This is something I never spoke on, but I always question it. But I never spoke on it because, I mean, in my eyes, allegedly, it's see-through. It's self-explained. We know who he was with. We know what they're capable of. We know the resources and finances they have access to. That's why I feel like some strings are being pulled. But listen when he talks about the correlation of the lawyer and this company and how there was supposed to be a little clause where they couldn't talk because of what was going on, but they had a mediator. In that situation, I'm gonna speak on this. I feel like that mediator was placed there just to keep tabs on what was really going on and where this dude's mind was, who they got in the system for this Takeoff stuff. Now, do y'all know about the little Cam dude? How he's no longer with us? Was that a loose end? Let's continue.
Part and the media moved on, but the question didn't go away. And the question didn't just come from us, the people. It also came from the prosecution. Early on in the case, prosecutors raised concerns that Clark wasn't being fully transparent about his finances. They believed he was downplaying what he actually had access to, and that raised a separate alarm. If this man has resources he isn't disclosing, he's a flight risk, and that concern wasn't just theoretical. Because here's a fact about this case that didn't get nearly enough attention. Just 2 days before his arrest, Clark had allegedly obtained a passport and then purchased tickets to Mexico 2 days before they picked him up. And this is something police made clear right after the arrest. They strongly believed Clark was preparing to flee, that he knew what was coming and was making moves to disappear. Very interesting. And they also had the receipts to back it up.
All right, now let's put him in correlation with Lil Durk. As far as trying to get out the country thing, allegedly, where did this dude get all the money? How is he out free roaming, but Durk is still behind the bars? And Durk could really put up way more than this dude. What resources did he have to where he could drop? So if they wanted $1 million, he probably had to drop 100,000 and put up some stuff and collateral and stuff. Who would have those capabilities?
His movements have been traced. The passport, the Mexico tickets, all of it came out during his first appearance in a probable cause court hearing. Now, at the same time, his defense was pushing back, arguing that their client didn't have the means to post bond, that he simply couldn't come up with the cash. The judge didn't buy it, and bond was set at $1 million, and somehow Clark was able to secure it. Now, to be clear, this obviously doesn't mean that someone is paying a full $1 million in cash, but it still requires serious money or backing to make that happen. Now, this is where things start to get a little interesting. Very early on, Clark had a high-profile legal representation. One of his attorneys was Carl Moore, a lawyer who's worked with rapper 6ix9ine, and notably, he's also worked very closely with the J Prince family. Now let that context sit just for a second, because here's where it gets deeper. When Clark was released on bond, his bond conditions included a list of people he was not allowed to contact. On that list, J Prince Jr., the son of J Prince, the same person who hosted the event where Takeoff was killed. And not just him, any members of his family or household were listed as well. Now, nobody officially explained why those names were on there, but think about what you just heard. The alleged killer's attorney has ties to the J Prince family. The shooting happened at an event hosted by J Prince Jr. And when Clark gets out on bond, the court felt it was necessary to specifically bar him from contacting that same family. I'm not here to tell you what to think, but you can obviously think for yourself, right? But those are facts, and you can decide whatever you make of them. And then there's another very interesting detail that I actually went over in my video from about a year ago. A man named Jim Willis surfaced in connection with the case. He was apparently a private investigator, reportedly working for Clark's defense. And according to what came out, this private investigator was the same person who facilitated the bond, not paid for it.
This is the person that I'm saying is the mediator. He didn't pay for it, he facilitated it. Who are the two connecting parties? We got the party that is going through the justice system. Then we got the other party that has substantial finances. Come on, man, make it make sense.
Was behind it. Willis was just the one who made it happen. So now the question shifted. It was no longer how did this guy who's accused of killing Takeoff get out? It became who actually wanted him out. Who is this Willis private investigator working for? And is it possible that this private investigator was simply a lawyer between Clark and whoever was truly funding his release? Again, I'm not telling you what to think. You can connect the dots yourself. Now, the more you look at this case, and particularly some of these things here, the more you realize that almost nothing is straightforward. Actually, it is straightforward depending on how you look at it, but at the same time,
it's too straightforward. It's so straightforward that it'll make you start looking into other things about this same situation. It's too straightforward. They're not fooling anybody. I don't know if they're doing what I'm thinking they're doing for sure. It's just my opinion. I'm entitled to that.
There's more questions than answers. And here is where things get really interesting, right? The J. Prince family has their own attorney. His name is Kent Schaefer, a high-profile attorney who's worked with major artists like Travis Scott. And back when those bond conditions surfaced, the ones listing J. Prince Jr. and his family as people Clark could not contact, Kent Schaefer made a public statement about this, and this is what he said. He said there was no reason for the Prince family's name to be included in those conditions. The state agreed, and they were removed. Okay, fair enough, but still doesn't explain why they were there in the first place. And now here's where this case takes a turn that I generally was not expecting. Now remember the attorney that I mentioned? Not Kent Schaefer, Carl Moore, who is of course Patrick Clark's attorney, the one with ties to the J. Prince family. Now this attorney actually just a few weeks ago ended up withdrawing from the case. No explanation given. He's out. Now Patrick Clark in this case also had another attorney. She was a black woman. Her name was Letitia Hollins. She was actually representing him until recently. Now 1 month ago, she was replaced. And who replaced her? Kent Schaefer, the same attorney who publicly defended the J. Prince family when their names appeared in Clark's bond conditions. The same family whose event this shooting took place at. He is now representing the man accused of pulling the trigger and killing Takeoff. And it's also worth noting how slow this case has been moving forward. This happened in November 2022. We're now in 2026, and there's still no trial.
Take this time to like the video. I do not have premium, and it is okay. I want to say something though. Shout out to all the haters in the comments. Y'all are not bothering anybody. And don't get so worked up when you get a response. I try to reply to everybody. I try. And I've always been like that. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, I mess with you. You actually try to reach back out. Yeah, I do. I don't know why, but yeah. And if you don't like the intro song, it's okay too. You definitely ain't got to listen to it. I be laughing when I see people like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, thanks for taking the time out to put towards something you don't like. There are choices out here. All right, let me shut up. That's the Mary talking.
November of this year, but there are no plea deals or no agreements yet. Now, according to Clark's own attorney, both sides have spent the last several years exchanging evidence and making sure discovery is complete. Now, when asked whether this case will even go to trial, the response was very simple. If it's not dismissed, they're of course going to trial, which it looks like they are. And Clark during this entire time had to talk about it quickly. At some point during the case, DNA evidence was mishandled. A forensic analyst made critical errors in processing evidence connected to Takeoff's murder. Errors serious enough that there is a real possibility that DNA evidence in this case was compromised.
We're going to end it right there. I think y'all heard enough. It just doesn't add up, but it adds up perfectly, if you know what I mean. But this is a thing, though. This is a thing. A lot of people say that certain people had it out for the Prince family ever since the father, Senior, had a car dealership. And if that's true, how does this company, I'll say that, or these companies, how do they wiggle around so much and their names are in very, very, very deep stuff that has to do with the city of Houston? What kind of pull or leverage would you have to essentially just be able to do what you want? Why aren't they being talked to? Hey, what are y'all doing? Why is this name always affiliated with a bad situation in the same city? Like, you got to make it make sense. It's only one common denominator. Well, two. Houston and that family. Let's continue. Now, this is Flacco. He's going to talk about this Chud dude. And I really hope I don't get flagged. Like, I don't condone this stuff. No, nothing. Check this out, y'all.
Person. Now, this person who pulled up on Chud, they're not a hero. It's another clout-chasing racist who also say the N-word, who's only pulling up to center the conversation around him.
I just saw him yesterday. What are you talking about? Just with him.
So both of these dudes share the same thought process when it comes to certain groups of people. But the one dude pulled up on the one dude in Nashville, took his cowboy hat and everything.
It was absolutely chaotic, right? And then a grand finale happened. But Chud then went back. Y'all remember the dude who kicked Chud like out of the bar or told Chud he can't come in the bar because Chud walked up to him and said the N-word, and he let Chud know, hey, I got 2 black kids. I don't like that. I don't co-sign that.
Hey, don't spit on me, nigga. Don't spit on me. Hands up and not assault me.
We're going to end it right there. I just heard a word I didn't want to hear, and I don't need any problems. Fast forward, this dude, y'all, this same dude, he went to a steakhouse, and this is what got him arrested. He talked so crazy to the Indian person that worked there, the waiter or something, talked so crazy. They kicked him out, but when he left, he said he wasn't paying for anything because he got kicked out. He got arrested. This dude has raised $50K plus from supporters. You gotta really understand, and what was so crazy about the situation is certain platforms let him rock until it got too much traction. I don't know what happened to TOS, the terms of service, or anything like that, but come on, bro. This is where we are with things now. Big Bank. He was defending a lot of rappers, Atlanta rappers, in an interview with Tekashi, and prior to that, Tekashi got him. I don't like the way Tekashi says the N-word because he's so deep into his stuff as he should, his belief system and stuff, but I don't agree with that. But I like bro's tenacity, and he makes very, very valid points, and I think that's what really irks our community. I ain't gonna even say our community, but rappers. A lot of these rappers that said this and that about him are going through the same things. But the thing about the situation is, bro never would address them or initiate. He would just respond. Check this out.
You still sign your name on a dotted line that you agreed to snitch when it's time to snitch. So 6ix9ine is pointing that out, like, hold on, 21 Savage got a U visa agreement. I haven't heard Big Bank and others call him out on this. Why? And
this is the key.
Navon, the #1 rated business.
Take this time to like the video. $ Trap House Kitchen 1. Don't let dude and his supporters outdo y'all. Come on.
Now read it out loud. Let people
Physical abuse or
physical abuse, mental or physical abuse, and are helpful to law enforcement in the investigation. What you going? You know that? That's what you got right now.
Big Bank heard 6ix9ine explain what a U visa is, explain how 21 Savage got the U visa, explain the stipulations of the U visa, read exactly what read the paragraph. Big Bank then reads the same paragraph and stopped short of when they said you got to cooperate against the person who victimized you, man. Very smart and intelligent brother.
All right, so what happened was 21 got popped, and he had some issues with a certain 3-letter organization, and that was the proffer or agreement that he agreed to secure a visa to stay in the States because he's from the UK. Big Bank got to accept what it is. It's very hypocritical. Very hypocritical. I don't know if y'all want to check that content out. Go check out Poetic Flacco's page. And yeah, Chudthebuilder. Crazy, man. At some point, it has to be almost a hate crime. Or exactly what it sounds like, a hate crime. It gets to a point where it passes freedom of speech. Make it make sense. I'm out. Peace.